Let's start with the rupee first, and that really is the big story today. Has touched a new record low at 61.80 in the intraday market, breaching its previous all-time low of 61.21. But it has managed to close the day at 60.85 after RBI intervened into the currency markets. Dealers said that the central bank intervened a couple of times into the market, and that's the reason you have seen that rebound coming in. Rajan's appointment as the next RBI governor also boosted the sentiment. Rising dollar demand from importers, a surge in government spending and weak equity markets have preyed on the currency in the meanwhile. Let's get some reactions on the rupee's downtrend then. Sujan Hazra from Anand Rathi thinks that structural issues must be addressed to stem the rupee fall. Nicholas Ferris in the meanwhile says that East Spring Investment thinks that rupee has reacted negatively to the RBI's actions.
I think there are more direct action which can be done to stabilize rupee in terms of, say, for example, entering agreement with the Fed to have a sort of a credit line kind of thing with Fed. That's a kind of thing. Second, you have to address the structural problem. If RBI unwinds these moves, even in a sequenced manner, then my sense is that the direction of the bond yield should be downwards rather than upwards.
I do worry that the reaction of the currency to the central bank's actions a week or so ago is actually quite bearish, in the sense that you've seen, in spite of the central bank's actions, the currencies continue to sell off against the US dollar.
Let's also get in then Peter McQuarrie. He's Chief Market Strategist Asia Pacific at Baxter Forex, and he joins us on the show. Peter, hi, welcome. The central banks, US and Europe, have taken an unchanged stance in their meetings. What does that tell you about the growth and currency impact on both of these economies?
Look, I think a couple of things. First off, we've got historically low interest rates. That's been over the last, 3 to 5 years now. We've been priming the pump. We look at, we want strong export numbers, but as far as Europe's concerned, it's a very, very weak domestic economy over there. As far their export market, you've got large unemployment numbers, and with historic lows of 300 to 500 years as far as Germany, France, and of course the UK. It's very, very weak as far as what's on the horizon. America, certainly job shedding was a favourable pastime to try and get economic growth in a lot of these companies, and we're feeling those sort of pains also in Australia. So at the moment, I think you're going to see a continuation as far as QE for the foreseeable future.
Peter, also the rupee has seen continuous pressure from the trade deficit concerns and seems completely ignoring the central bank steps to contain the decline. How have you read in the measures?
When you're thinking about, from 93 to 2007, India was growing around about 6.5% per annum. Now you're down to 5%. You've had no net job growth in 2005, 2006, and also 9 and 10. Those figures have just been released. So, we need strong growth in India, and you're just not hitting those numbers. You've seen the Indian rupee sitting now at around about 60 and a half, and I think if it continues what we've seen since really May of this year, it's been one-way traffic, and I think 62 and a half, 63 will be a headline number by October.
Peter, before we let you go, what's the sense really coming in for the rupee as it continues to underperform the Asian currencies even in last 5 days now? How would you see the rupee going forward?
Going to see a further weakening pretty much across all of the BRICS, and I think from where it's 60 and a half, 63 is very achievable come October, November. As far as intervention, as far as the government's concerned, you need to be priming the pump, and I think there's every possibility that to create growth and to create jobs, you certainly need to see a weakening of that Indian rupee. So around that sort of number is very achievable, and very much a reality.
All right, keeping up with the big story, then let's also get in Vijay Bhamwani, and we'll be joined, of course, by Arvind Narayanan, who's Head of Sales, Treasury and Markets, DBS Bank. Vijay, but starting with you, the kind of move that we have seen on the charts in sense of rupee, what are you making of it? An all-time low and then, of course, a rebound.
Manisha, the market is cheered by A, the RBI intervention, and B, the announcement of the change of guard, and there is hope in the market, which has basically seen some unwinding of long positions in the US dollar, which has seen the rupee gain towards the end of the day. I think the long dollar short rupee trade is still alive and kicking. And as far as levels go, I'll talk about the currency derivative segment in the futures space rather than the cash, because that's what I trade, the futures. The closing I can see is at 61.46 in the August future series. I think the 60.80 levels in the future series is where there will be support coming in for the USD INR in the August future series. And if the dollar was to appreciate from here, 62.40 is where I would see it going on the upside.
62.40, the next level coming in from Vijay. But Arvind, what's your sense now coming in for the Indian rupee? How have you read the kind of moves that the rupee really displayed in the day today?
Okay, hi. The morning moves were quite in line with what we expected. We'd called for a move to 61.80, which happened. Then the announcements happened. Look, I don't want to give too much of weightage to the announcements made by the RBI, because an individual doesn't govern everything. But we also saw a lot of dollar sales happening at those levels, and dollar rupee has had a strong move down to about 60-80 levels. To my mind, this is a good move. There's a move to take note of. My sense is tomorrow we should again open slightly lower. Again, positive feel-good factors, maybe a 60-40, 60-30 is possible. But fundamentals will take over again. My sense is there is genuine demand for dollars. There is a lot of actual underlying import for dollars. Oil companies are buying dollars. So to my mind, this will reflect in the currency move. So eventually we are moving back again towards 61.50, 62.
Arvind, how have you read the day today? Because there have been various statements coming in. To start with, of course, the RBI was intervening into the markets perhaps a couple of times is what the dealers tell us. You also had Raghuram Rajan coming in as the new RBI governor starting September. The markets have taken a positive sentiment of that, as well as people have been talking on the channel about that. And then, of course, government saying that they are going to take not 2, not 3, but perhaps 4 or 5 measures to rein in CAD in the next week.
That's right. I guess the announcement regarding Raghuram Rajan is definitely positive. I mean, he has a great working equation with the government, so that's something which will ease a lot of tensions in the market. Plus, remember, RBI had made this announcement a few days back about if dollar rupee goes towards 61, 62, then they are talking about a rate hike possibility or a repo hike possibility. My sense is that's back on track. That's under consideration again. So if I was looking at the currency and if I am governing the policies, one of the things which will cross my mind is do I need to do a repo hike now? Do I need to do a CRR hike now? Do I need to do an NRI bond now? So these are a few alternatives which definitely I would play around with. And these are things which will play in the mind of the governor as well.
So what's your sense going forward then, Arvind? Do you think it's majorly the domestic factors playing a role onto the rupee, or is there some hand coming in from, or is there some impact coming in from rather international markets as well?
Definitely international market is playing its part as well, and it leads the emerging market outflow in a big way. So one of the first reasons for the dollar strength against rupee was the emerging market outmove back to the US, supported of course by domestic fundamentals and economic reasons. So that story remains intact. US still seems to be doing well. In fact, most developed economies together seem to be doing better than the emerging markets put together as a pack. So fundamentally, there is clear talk in the Fed in the US that tapering should happen, if not in September, probably by December. So I would allocate a high probability of US interest rates going higher in the next few months. And if that happens, there has to be fundamental pressure on the dollar rupee as well. So you might see dollar rupee going higher, and I would think Indian interest rates will also go higher from here.
Well, in background of that, then, of course, you said, Arvind, that perhaps the rupee can turn around and see some more bearishness. But what are you really betting on? 62, 63, 65?
Look, it's quite stylish to call for a level, but these are uncharted territories, and I do not want to hazard a guess. But to my mind, fundamentally, 62.50 looks very, very close. I mean, today it's come down to 60.80, so I'm not very surprised if it goes to 60.40, 60.30 or so. But on the upside, I would definitely see a move coming towards 62.50 or thereabouts. So fundamentals should take us there.